Hi, my name is Kim Plath, and my kids don't eat sugar. My kids have never had a soda, and they don't eat ice cream. My kids only eat honey, even though honey is just natural sugar. I love sugar. I love M&Ms. Don't tell my kids about my secret stash under my bed. Okay? Bye! Hey guys, it's Katie, and I don't have any sugar hidden under my bed because I can literally just go to my pantry and get some cookies or a blow pop if I want one. So I am the opposite of Kim Plath, and I'm probably possessed by Satan. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad to have you here. We're gonna do an update on the Plaths because Olivia is spilling the tea and we have all things to catch up on. Welcome to Plathville is on the middle of the season. We're I think at episode 8 coming up next week, and we are going to have a confrontation between Ethan and his parents in regards to their estranged relationship and how they treat Olivia. Last season, we saw a very tense exchange between Ethan and Olivia, between the parents, and how they believed that Olivia was like doing things that were not appreciative, that there was sort of an attitude issue, that she was not being respectful to them. And Ethan basically just stood there like this. Sorry, what? Did you just say that about my wife? Okay, cool. And that put a huge strain on their marriage. Obviously, if I were Olivia, I would be like, Ethan, what the hell? Like, stand up for me. But he didn't. And so this season, we're seeing sort of the fallout of the two of them navigating their second year of marriage, which, by the way, they just celebrated their second anniversary. Happy anniversary, kids. These two have been on a journey this season, from getting tattoos, traveling to California, and embarking on a life outside of their family and away from the farm. According to sneak peeks and spoilers, a serious confrontation goes down between Ethan and his parents. So apparently he goes, knocks on the door, and Olivia is in the car. He wants to be able to talk about seeing the kids. And then you see in the teaser for next week, he says, you know, if you're not going to allow us to see the kids without you guys being around, this will be the last time we see you guys until you're 18. So Olivia would like to say goodbye to you. Obviously, that was met with some sort of like something, because apparently, according to Soap Dirt and other reporting outlets, Kim Plath then decided to walk down to meet Olivia at the car. Ethan asked that she not go there, and then subsequently, Barry Plath decided that he was gonna go down and see Olivia at the car, and Ethan got handsy. What? Yes. Ethan grabbed his father and basically told his dad not to go near his wife because of how disrespectful he had been to her in the past, and he did not want his dad to have anything to do with her, and he did not want his dad to go anywhere near his wife. Go Ethan. Okay, so there was this dust up, and Olivia actually alluded to this. So earlier this week, Olivia sat down with People magazine in an exclusive interview, and she talked a little bit about what's going on. And she said this: I know it hasn't quite aired yet, but I think that they have teased that there is a point at the end of the season where Ethan does talk to his parents and lets them know how he feels about things. And that was a pretty wild little adventure in and of itself. But as of right now, we just decided, you know, there's a no contact basis. So effectively, they go to say goodbye to the siblings, and it doesn't go well. There's a confrontation. He and his dad get into a physical altercation. And essentially, these two, the families now are not talking at all. So according to Olivia, there's no contact at all. And she says that the parents have made no attempts to reconcile at all with Ethan. So basically, she says when Ethan went no contact, his parents basically said, all right, we're totally fine with that, and haven't made any effort to reconcile. And she says it was the healthiest and best thing for us when Ethan decided that, and just focusing on us, focusing on moving and growing. I'm focusing on the rebrand, my business, and just trying to do everything I can to make sure that I'm healthy and happy. So with the family divided and the parents going no contact, they are planning for a future which includes moving out of Cairo to Florida potentially. She said, we made it to 2 years and his parents never thought we would. So we are really, really happy about that. And honestly, I think the best part of us being married is the fact that we get to do life together as best friends. I know that sounds really cliche, but at the same time, in the circle we grew up in, like, guys and girls could not be friends, and the fact that we were able to be friends before we got married was like an unheard of things in many ways. She said that being able to stay friends, I honestly think that helped our marriage stay afloat, because during all the hard times with all the drama, there wasn't a lot of romance going around. We just were trying to survive and keep our head above water. But the fact that we were friends, I think, helped us through that. And I'm really, really glad he's my best friend. She also talked about how she's at a point right now where she's in therapy and she's going back to therapy to deal with some stuff with her childhood. She said, I'm currently in therapy. I started again last month, just really realizing that I was not in a healthy place and needed to work through things. And I think it may be once we've gone through some therapy, we feel like we've processed our childhood and we're ready to not just react when we have our own kids, but actually like take positive steps for a better childhood for them. And maybe once we've seen a little bit more of the world and maybe a couple more memories, I think maybe we'd be ready for a couple of kids. A couple years down the road, we're not in a rush. So she and Ethan do want to have children, but she says that she and Ethan are not in a place emotionally to be able to have kids, and that she wants to she wants to work through her issues of growing up. Now, Ethan had a very strict upbringing where he, was kept away from basically the whole world. He was homeschooled. He was not allowed to drink soda or eat sugar or watch TV or have social media or really know anything beyond like if you lived in the 1950s. It's Leave It to Beaverland over on that farm. But guess what? Once the fundies actually realized that they could make money and use the systems in which they don't allow their kids to use and get rich, then they moved off the farm into their luxury home in Cairo. The hypocrisy. Okay, so they're working on their marriage and they're trying to move through this very toxic sort of life that they've grown up in. They grew up in a world where, like I said, Ethan was kept very sheltered, but Olivia says that her life was also equally sheltered. Maybe not as strict as what Ethan experienced, but she said she absolutely did grow up in a society or in a culture where women did not have, where the expectation was that women would not go and have jobs and basically were just supposed to be a wife and a mother. So her having a business and sort of like starting her whole life and being independent is a huge milestone for Olivia. Now, say what you want about Olivia. Some people simply don't like her just because they feel like she's caused so much friction in this family. I think given her upbringing and everything that she's gone through, I think she has a very healthy outlook, and I'm so glad that she's in therapy to deal with this thing. I think at the end of the day, they want to move, so they are planning to sell their house. They're getting ready to have their house be put on the market. She said after Christmas, they're hoping to have their home ready to be sold. And then are they going to buy a home? She said not right away. She said that they're probably going to move into Florida, maybe closer to where Ethan works, and try out a few places before they decide on a permanent place to live. So given everything that Ethan and Olivia have gone through, it's pretty amazing they've actually made it to 2 years. They've had a lot to deal with. They're both coming out of sort of that cult mentality. There's this humongous rift now with the family, and they are kind of in many ways sort of like Derek Dillard and Jill Duggar, except that Derek didn't grow up that way. So both of them are kind of coming out of that cult mindset and having to deprogram and reprocess and really recover from their lives. And that's no different than what Micah and Mariah are doing. Micah, when he was in an interview earlier this week with Dominic Natty, basically said that there is still a lot of friction in this family and there's still a lot of issues going on in the family. And at this point, it sounds like Mariah is like the only kid that's out of the house that has been estranged from them, that Kim will like trust around the kids. Kim is, I don't know, if you're a mom and you really love your children and you have four of your nine kids basically saying like, I don't want to have anything to do with you, mom and dad, do you think there's maybe a problem? You probably should have let your kids have a life. Do you think they maybe should just reevaluate what they're doing, or are they gonna stick with this? And could you imagine in Olivia's position walking into a family where Kim actually wanted her to be the daughter-in-law, like pursued Olivia, was in love with Olivia, and then once Olivia sort of opened up and changed and sort of realized that there was more to life than what her cult taught her, then Kim suddenly turned her vindictive back on her and made her the monster and somehow convinced her husband, or they're convinced that she's possessed by devils? Yeah, that's really why they have issues. They think that she's possessed by demons. If Olivia is possessed by demons, Kim, I must be Satan. All right, you guys, tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.